Hey guys, welcome to another episode. Today I'm going to be training some arms. The last workout you saw was me training chest. So very, very basic with my workouts, I know. But I don't ever try to pretend like I know everything or that my way is the only way to train. I tell people all the time, if you watch my stuff, watch someone else's stuff, try it all, put it together and see what works best for you. You know, your body is going to be the best, going to give you the best feedback into what works. So, and that's what I've done over all these years. I've tried giant sets, I've tried supersets, I've trained with many different people, and I prefer to train in the way that you see in all my videos, where it's like basic exercises, straight sets normally, like 10 to 12 reps. But I do a fair bit of volume, maybe 4 or 5 working sets each exercise, and then just progressive overload. I'll just add more weight where I can. But I find that that's how my body responds well. Yes, I could probably train a lot harder, I could probably train a lot heavier, but for me and my training, I've decided that this is how my body responds well. When I'm constantly trying to add weight and just train like to break records almost every workout, I find that it fucks me up, I get injured, I get aches and pains. So you definitely do have to find that balance of where you can still keep progressing, but not get injured or not have any problems as well. It's not just about going to the gym and just leaving it all in the gym and training your ass off, which you hear people say, you know, all the time. When you've been doing this for a long, long time, it's more about just finding something that works without getting injured and being consistent to that for years and years and years and years. So today for arms, nothing is going to be different to my other videos. You'll see my workouts. I like to train with a lot of volume because I do enjoy being in the gym too. Like it might take me 2 hours to train arms, but I enjoy that. So could I train maybe more weight, higher intensity with less exercises? I probably could, but I enjoy doing the more volume because, as I said, the time that I spend in the gym is my time. It's therapeutic. I love it. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. So that's, you know, why I do it. So all the exercises today, I'll give a little brief video before each exercise as to what I'm doing, and you guys can follow along. But all the reps are going to be roughly around 10 to 12. The sets, maybe 4 to 5 working sets. And that's really it, guys. I'll see you in the gym. Okay, so first exercise for bicep is always either a one-arm preacher here on the bench, or it's a concentration curl against the side of my leg. I've always enjoyed to warm up like that with my first exercise. I normally start on maybe a 3 kilo dumbbell and just really stretch and squeeze every single rep. I might start with maybe 20 reps, something like that. It really is just to get a little bit of a pump, get a good feel, and then slowly work my way up. But I find training anything one arm, especially if you've got one arm bigger than the other. My right arm is probably almost half an inch smaller than my left arm. So at least this way I can sometimes get more reps on my right arm, or really just focus and squeeze on that particular arm. Because if I have a barbell in my hand, obviously the stronger arm is always going to take over. And if you do that for years and years and years and years, you're going to end up with a pretty noticeable imbalance. So this is a good way to start while you're fresh and really just get a good mind-muscle connection. So alternate dumbbell curls here, what I like to do is keep my elbows kind of pinned back and just come up as high as I can with my bicep. You know, I don't really need to lift up with my front delt like that, so I try to keep my elbows pretty pinned back and then just squeeze into each rep here. Again, a little bit of momentum isn't going to hurt as long as you're not heaving it and swinging it all the way up there. You know, I like to, like I said, keep the elbow pretty strict and just squeeze up using your bicep. Next exercise is these high pulley cable curls, I suppose you could call it. Maybe a posing curl, maybe showing off in the gym curl. But it is going to be, for me, I like it because it replicates almost being on stage in front of the judges, hitting a front double bicep curl, like on every single rep. This is a good way for me to just make sure that I'm getting a good stretch, getting a good squeeze on every single rep. Rep ranges again, 10 to 12, but the main thing on this exercise is just really squeezing my biceps as hard as I can. All right, next exercise is a curl. I'm doing both hands this time on a EZ bar, easy bar, wiggly bar, whatever you want to call it. But at this stage of the workout, I don't have to go really heavy. I probably wouldn't, on a good day, go over maybe 40 kilos on this exercise. But as long as I'm keeping my elbow pinned back, keeping constant tension on the bicep, and you'll know if the tension's not on your bicep, you'll know. If you're really heaving the weight up and letting the elbows come forward, you can hold the weight here like all day long. But if you've got your elbows back and you're just flexing with your bicep, the tension's gonna be on your bicep the whole time. So that's why a lot of the time when I curl, my elbows are back, because here it's still all bicep. Whereas here, I'm almost just resting the weight here. My biceps are out of the movement. So that's why I like to keep my elbows like that where I can. Sometimes the end of the final set, I'll swing, a few up just to get some forced reps. But besides that, I try to keep it nice and clean. Okay, moving right along for biceps. So last exercise today is going to be plate curls. So these are really good, I find, at the end. Does a lot of forearm recruitment and as well bicep, depending on what you do with your elbows. I like to really just put my palms on the inside of a plate and my thumb just on the outside like that. And again, just keeping it on the bicep. There's no need for me to come all the way up, as long as I just keep it on my bicep. And you'll find what works, well, not what works, but find out what area it hits by turning your elbows out, turning your elbows in. It's gonna hit, different spots and feel a little bit different, but I always like to finish on either this, a hammer curl. I've never been really a big fan of doing reverse curls. It just has never felt really good on my wrist, but this is definitely a favorite one. All right, now it's time for triceps. So like biceps, it's kind of my first go-to exercise for biceps you saw was those one arm preacher curls. And my first go-to exercise for triceps is usually always the rope. Just find that it warms up my elbows real good, and it also just gives me a really good mind-muscle connection, warms up the tricep, and then I'll be ready to do either dips or presses or overhead, anything like that. But if I could do like a good 4 or 5 sets here with my elbows back, again, I don't want my elbows to really drift up too far. Like every rep, I still try to keep my arms locked in on the side and then just squeeze down with my triceps. So no need to use massive amounts of weight where you're going to be like coming up and throwing it down, or almost doing like a press at the bottom. Just use your triceps. Easy. All right, well, this is kind of a different exercise. This is almost like a cross between a skull crusher and a close grip press. So I really like to do this because in the past I've found I've never got a whole lot out of doing heavy skull crushers. Like I used to get a lot of pains in my elbows. I wouldn't be able to really squeeze and feel my triceps too much. So doing it this way, you'll have to put the flat bench there and work out where you lay on the bench as to where the bar comes, whether it suits you better when the bar comes more to your forehead or when it comes a little bit more to your nose or mouth, whatever you want to do. But I find the lower, if I come to maybe around about my mouth, I can kind of let my elbows fold down and the bar's resting on my palms, and then I can really just press up and flex and squeeze my triceps. But at the bottom part, when the elbows fold in, you're really able to get an awesome stretch on the long head of your tricep. And that's why I've really fallen in love with this movement, as opposed to just trying to do a heavy skull crusher or whatever for the sake of it. I'm not sure who I saw do this movement, but give it a go. Let me know, write in the comments section if you guys enjoy it, but this is definitely one of my new favorite exercises for long head of the tricep. All right, so now I'm gonna do an exercise that's gonna put my tricep in a stretched position. So this is gonna be an overhead. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I find that anything, especially this particular kind of movement where you're in a stretched position, it just puts a lot of stress and load on the tricep tendon. So that's why if I'm doing this fresh at the start of the workout, I'm able to use a fair bit of weight on it, and it does just put so much pressure on my elbows and on the tricep tendon, and that's something that I'm trying to avoid. So doing it at this stage of the workout now, once I've already got a nice pump in the tricep, especially the long head after that last exercise in the Smith machine, I don't have to use a crazy amount of weight, but it doesn't matter because I'm still able to just get such a good squeeze in it. It's already pumped. Might only use a 17 kilo dumbbell, but same kind of deal with bicep. One of my tricep is better than the other. So at least on this one, I can just do one arm and I can really just stretch and squeeze. And if I have to do a couple of extra reps on the weaker tricep, I will. All right, well, back on the cables again for the next exercise. Now this one, so we've already done a rope pushing out that way for a push down. So now I'm gonna be doing reverse. So just underhand grip, and just keeping my elbow pretty strict on this one and just coming down and squeezing. So I really don't want to be using heaps of momentum and throwing this one down. It's kind of almost like a kickback too. You can really squeeze back just all the upper portion of the tricep. So it's good to mix it up a little bit with your grips because you will feel it differently. And the final exercise for the tricep workout is going to be dumbbell kickbacks. Old school exercise. I really like doing these at the end. Now, as long as your elbow is either parallel, pretty easy exercise to do, just lean over, the elbow either parallel or slightly higher, you should be able to really squeeze back on the upper portion of your tricep, give you that horseshoe look that everyone's after. But I like to finish a lot of workouts, doesn't matter what muscle group it is, with something that kind of just gives you, just pump a lot more blood in there. I don't know why, maybe it's a mental thing, but it just kind of gives me that reassurance that our muscle's done. And I think it just feels really good at the end of the workout to have that feeling, and it's like, yep, all right, that's done. Time to have something to eat and get ready for the next day. All right, well, that's my arm workout finished. So you saw a fair bit of volume there. Didn't do any crazy workout techniques. It was kind of just all straight sets where I slowly add a little bit of weight each set, and doesn't really get too much more complicated than that. I like to train for feel rather than just for weight. Of course, as I say in all my videos, weight is important. I'm not trying to lift light weights for the sake of lifting light weights. I try to lift as heavy as I can, but be a little bit strategic in where I put certain exercises so I don't have to just lift crazy heavy weights. So you saw today, like I'll do a rope push down, then I'll do that Smith machine press, and then I'll do like maybe something overhead. That way I'm not starting the exercise when my triceps are really strong and doing a really heavy overhead press. So I've done that in the past. I've experimented with things like that, and all I've done is ended up with really sore tricep tendons. And once they've been inflamed by doing that type of stuff, my workout suffered for a long time until I can kind of get on top of it, get the inflammation down. So doing what I'm doing is, like I said at the start, it's just trial and error. You try things, you see how your body responds. That's the best way to do things. And then put all the pieces together, and that's when you come up with what type of workouts, what type of training, what type of intensity works best for you. So guys, I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, stay up to date with everything on the Massive Joe's YouTube channel. For me, for today, that's it. I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you for tuning in to this video. We hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out our latest upload and our recommended video, and be sure to subscribe to the Massive Joe's YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads.